Hey everyone, Wesley Bittner here with Impeccabrew MHA, and I'm joined by Shock2K5 from MyHeroMeta.com and MyHeroMeta on YouTube.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I'm doing all right, and we are today doing the draft set review for Undaunted Raid, set 5 of the My Hero card game.
Yeah, this is the set that's gonna change it all, right? Like it's gonna be pretty cool. And to look at it from a different perspective at the same time. It's gonna be
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
absolutely. So, draft is a format that hasn't really been supported up until now. And so, we wanted to kind of go through and give our perspective on draft picks. Draft is very skill intensive, and we haven't done it. But this is the first set where a draft is not only viable, but they've actually built the set around drafting. And I'm really excited for that. Draft is one of my all time favorite formats.
Yeah, and also like if you're looking for those extra credit promos and sealed is awesome, but it gets a little bit dry after a while. Like
Mm-hmm.
draft is definitely a great way to like juice it up and make it more interesting.
Endlessly replayable. So, to start this video off, I want to go over first our grading system. We're going to be going from A to F using sort of like a school grading system, A, B, C, D, F, and with pluses and minuses. And on top of that, there are two bonus grades, sideboard and build around. So I'm going to give a little overview of what those grades actually mean. Starting with A's, those are, especially for characters, those are going to be the best characters you can play. If you pull them, you want to play them. Like, they draw you into their symbols. B's are going to be your above average cards that don't really require a lot of building around. They're very generalized. They have good card advantage abilities built into them. They're not keyword gated, something like that. C's are going to be your mid pack, playable. They've got some good stat bonus abilities, but they don't maybe provide card advantage, or maybe it's just like a seven hander with a little bit of a too low of a health pool, something like that. D's are going to be your really sad to have to play them cards. These are going to be keyword gated characters that you didn't quite get there on, or characters that just can't survive very well. And then F is going to be totally unplayable. These are cards that you need specific things to make them work, that work in constructed, but just don't get there in draft. There probably won't be too many, but we'll we'll be talking about one pretty soon, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
if we wanted to just get right into it, I'll start off with Ejiro Kirishima as our first character.
Kick us off.
All right, Ejiro Kirishima is a seven-hander with 20 health, and he has the following abilities: Enhance. If your Fury or Punch attack is partially blocked, your rival loses 2 health. Response once per turn. After you completely block this attack, it deals no damage. And response once per turn, destroy 1 foundation. After an attack is completely blocked, your rival destroys 1 foundation. And he's got Death, Earth, and Void. I do not really like Kirishima. I don't know about you, Kev, but I don't really I don't really like seven-handers.
Yeah, and his ability. Well, I personally love seven handers in draft. They do not love me, or they have not loved me as I've played in sealed. But because you're typically doing a typical a medium amount of damage per turn. You're attacking twice and building. There's not like these complex strategies, but with Kirishima, his abilities are all for like stopping something that's in the meta. After you completely block this attack, it deals no damage.
Yeah.
That doesn't really play when you're not staring down jolts or something like that.
Yeah, I think one thing that's
Yeah,
really
throws.
important to mention here is that I looked into the stats of the set, and one of the most important things that I look for when drafting is throws, and there are only 2 throws at common in this set. So not every symbol has access to throws, and the ones that do exist, one of them is a 1 mid for 3, and the other one is like a scaling throw that might take a little bit of work to start building up. So there's not a ton of throws in this set. There's 2 more at rare and 1 at ultra rare, but that's really not a lot. So I
And
think
even if
that ability is just not very good.
Right. At that point, like how many throws is your opponent really gonna, get?
Yeah.
How many people in the event are actually gonna get enough throws for that to matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really gonna happen.
Yeah.
I do like to lose 2 health, but again,
Yeah. Partial
it's
blocking happens a lot. I think one of the common themes of today is going to be us mentioning that fully blocking your opponent's attacks is a little bit harder in draft. The zones of attacks are more unpredictable, and you're less able to control your own block zones. So I mean that it is relevant. I personally would give Kirishima like a C minus, a little bit. He's not unplayable. Um, I don't think that the destroy a foundation ability that almost helps your opponent. There's not a lot of ways to get yourself out of deadlock in draft, so sometimes they can just cycle their own face downs for actual abilities. C minus D plus. What do you think?
I've got to go through what fury and punches you have access to on these symbols in this set.
Yeah.
Because looking at that, man, he looks like a straight D for me.
Yeah. I could see that.
Like,
I forgot about the keyword gated. Yeah, that's pretty hard. I'll go D with you on that one.
And the worst thing is that 20 health, because you're usually taking a set. Like you're taking a little bit of damage every turn. He's probably got 3 turns of attacks until he's dead. So
absolutely. So D for Ejiro Kirishima. You want to take us up with Fat Gum?
Fat Gum. I get 2 cards because I'm shot. Okay. So Fat Gum, the lovable, I don't know what to call him, fattest hero. He has 5 cards in his hand, 29 life in the bank. You may build Fat Gum 2 character cards. Enhance, commit, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, build 1 foundation or asset revealed face up, and discard the rest. Then we have First Form. If you are in deadlock or have 10 or less health, search all of your game zones for a copy of Fat Gum 2 and build it. If you search your deck, shuffle it. So I love the fact that, before I get to the enhance, I love the fact that 10 or less health when you're in a sealed or a draft format, you hit that margin a lot more often because people can't just like throw 25 damage at you in a turn.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're going to be able to build Fat Gum 2 a lot more consistently. I don't know how you feel about that.
I absolutely agree with that. It is going to be, they're going to get you to the edge and not be able to take you over. Because you can control, when you're getting close to 15, you can just take a hit, save your defenses for when you're under 10. And you can definitely control it a lot easier, I think, in draft. But why don't we get to that second part there?
Now, the enhance is interesting. Like, he's a 5-hander. Right. So we're in kind of recovery girl territory here, but he's building something but we're not recovery girl because he has to commit himself to reveal 4 cards, build 1 he wants. So he's got a built-in Wild Wild Pussycats kind of thing.
Just once per turn cycle, basically.
Right. But, we have a limited amount of foundations because we are a 5-hander. We have a limited amount of foundations because now we're committing our character, so we can't use him to pay for an attack or a block or something like that.
Yep.
This doesn't feel amazing. However, when we build Fat Gum 2, let's go to Fat Gum 2.
Let's go to Fat Gum 2.
Fat Gum 2, because we gotta talk about both in order to talk about Fat Gum. 6 cards in his hand, 10 life in the bank on the opposite side of the card. This character cannot be your starting character. When you build this card, it becomes your starting character. Draw 3 cards and remove all copies of Fat Gum 1 from your stage. Enhance twice per turn during your turn. Discard 1 card. Flip and commit 1 rival foundation. Very strong.
That's very strong.
And we have enhance. Remove 2 foundations. This attack gets +1 speed and +3 damage.
Whew.
And the reason I talk about Fat Gum 1's ability to build foundations first is huge when you start talking about, hey, I need you to discard cards. I need you to remove your foundations. I need you to destroy yourself like your Katsuki Bakugo in order to get this win.
Oh boy. Yeah, talk about going into a kill turn. Draw 3 cards, and then you're just discarding all your useless foundations from your hand and, removing your tapped foundations to just really give them one hell of a kill turn. I think that if you get Fat Gum 2, Fat Gum is a very playable, very potent character.
Yeah. But as we were talking about, the chances of getting Fat Gum 1 and Fat Gum 2.
Yeah.
If Wesley, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you get Fat Gum 1 and Fat Gum 2 in our draft, I'm calling judge. I'm doing something.
Yes.
I'm not letting this walk. Chances are low.
Yeah.
So
I think it's people might not be familiar with the way that the draft rules have been changed. Just to be clear, when you open your draft pack, every pack now has 11 cards in it, one of which is a guaranteed character. That's part of what has made draft a more viable format for this game. But the way that you draft characters is before you actually take your first pick, you take the character card out, you put it face down in front of you, and that is one of the characters you're allowed to play, and you do that for every pack. So when you open your pack, you don't know what you're going to have. You'll know one character, and then as you progress through the draft, you'll know more of the characters you have options for, but you're going to have to commit pretty early on in the draft, because you might be able to pick a symbol. Like if you open Fat Gum 1, you could pick Earth, Fire, or Good and just try and draft that symbol, and then maybe leave yourself open to the possibility of opening Fat Gum 2 in another pack, and then if not, jumping ship to hopefully another character. You still don't have, you might not even open, if you pick Earth, might not open another Earth character. So it's going to be really hard, the drafts where you open Fat Gum 1 and you're like, oh my god, what am I doing? Do I even try to build around this character? Because if you don't have Fat Gum 2, Fat Gum 1 is not playable. Like, he's just not going to get you there. The building one foundation, extra foundation, that's not a very good ability.
You're looking at this 29 life and you're like, okay, at least I'm squishy, but you're actually just going to they're just going to run through that life eventually.
It's not even that much.
It's not. Yeah. Six-handers all have 27, 28. Like, it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I didn't really think about was, so let's say the scenario we were talking about off camera, one of your opponents in the draft, they pull a pack and there's an XR Fat Gum 2 in one of their packs. You pull Fat Gum 1 in your first pack, say. So you see this Fat Gum 2 XR coming down the pipe and you're like, oh, great, I could grab that from that pack and be good. We go home with the deck we build, right? Like, I didn't actually ask that question, but once you build your deck, all the cards you chose, that's what you leave the event with, right? So that Fat Gum 2 is actually worth sniping for somebody in front of you who doesn't have Fat Gum 1.
Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of rare drafting. I think that you're not really...
But even to keep you from playing it against me. Even for winning the event, I don't want you to have Fat Gum.
Yeah, I guess hate drafting is another thing altogether. Even smaller proponent of hate drafting, but it is possible. I think that the chances of anyone even opening a specific XR character are so slim that it's not even really worth thinking about. It's going to be, it's going to be the one draft in 1,000, and realistically, how many drafts are we doing of this format? Like, 10.
Well, the just for fun players, they are extremely lucky, and I trust in their abilities. But yeah.
So what grade are you giving Fat Gum 1 and 2 together combined?
It's so hard to say this because he's so good when you build him. He's unplayable. It's an F. It's just, if you are we assuming you get both, or is that what we're saying?
I think that Fat Gum by himself, he's an F. But as a build around, if you get, I would give him a build around A, honestly. Like, if you get both,
if you get both A,
it's
100%.
really good. Like A, almost 100%. Close to A plus, maybe it's even just A plus, because you're gonna draw 3 cards, turn into a 6-hander, like get all these abilities. I think he might actually be a legitimate A plus build around. So all right.
Yeah, I was thinking A plus if you have both, and like +1, +3 is like, oh my god, he just went turbo mode. Yep. He doesn't need the foundations. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, if you open Fat Gum 1 in your first pack, my advice, pick one of his symbols and hope you open another character that can use them. But other than that, F, build around A plus for Fat Gum. And we'll move on to Izuku Midoriya 4. So Midoriya 4, everyone's very hyped with Area there in the background. 5-hander, 30 health, good life void. Enhance your non-throw attack or Fury or Punch gains powerful 4. You may discard one card from your hand in addition to momentum to pay this attack's powerful ability. And response, after your rival's combat phase begins, draw 3 cards and discard down to your printed hand size. I think...
Yeah.
It's all right. This might be controversial. He's not that good in draft.
That's wild. Okay. Sell me the not good. I don't want to give any.
He's not that good. He's good. I think that. So his defense ability actually, I think, is better in draft than it is in constructed, because any 3 random blocks off the top of your deck are probably as good as any 3 random blocks you could have kept in your hand. You know, you can sculpt one zone, you can leave 1 card in your hand and then draw 3 cards, and then, you know, you've got 4 cards on defense. That's really good. As a 5-hander with 0 card advantage abilities, though, on offense and on your first turn build, I think that he's a little lacking. You're gonna open your starting hand of 3 foundations, be like, oh, okay, build these 3, and then you're gonna go to turn 2, and you're gonna draw 2 or 3 more cards, whatever, 3 more cards, and you're gonna build 2 more, maybe throw in an attack, but you're not giving it speed, so there's probably gonna block. You don't want to be discarding now, ideally. You're just not, I don't think you're able to build out because until the later turns. So maybe if the games go long, which they're more likely to in draft, you'll get more card advantage out of it, but it's really more selection than anything, because you're not able to access those cards until it's your opponent's turn. I think his ability to build is going to be pretty weak. What do you think?
Okay. That's an interesting way to look at it. Like, man, I think of it like I don't have to run as many attacks. And I also I'm kind of given a lot of freedom in the deck building process, because I can run characters. I can run multiple characters because I basically have a graceful charity. I have 6 checks and 0. I can discard them for the response if whatever. I can run less attacks because I can just sculpt. I don't need to, put a bunch of, I don't need to attack every turn because I can catch up very quickly with a powerful 4. So
I guess that's true.
That's if you play it right now, like as a normal player, if you're new to the game or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, all my stuff get powerful 4. I'm gonna throw all the stuff. Like, yeah, he's actually pretty bad. Yeah. You can kill yourself very quickly playing Midoriya 4 at max power and just doing everything with everything. But if you press the buttons in the right order, I think he actually gives you an ability to play in a way that no one else can.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. You could go slightly lower on. You don't want to go too low. You still do want to have some momentum to use for his ability. So, because you can only discard the 1 card. 4 damage is definitely a lot.
But after you get 10, 12 foundations in your stage, I don't really look at Deadlock the same way as other people when we're talking about this format. Like, after you get 10, 12 foundations in your stage, now, like, everything, I'm probably discarding 1 for every attack.
Yeah.
Because I have the stage to do what I want to do later.
Yeah. I think that I think he's going to have a hard time keeping up with other decks. 30 health is a lot, but he's going to 5-hand himself, and he's just not going to have good build turns in the early game, and that can snowball really hard. So I'm going C-, I think, on Midoriya. I think he's below average. I don't think he's that good.
Okay, I'm super high on Midoriya in draft, and I am only gonna say I'm stuck between a B and a B-, and I'm gonna say solid B. And I think that if you say anything higher than that for Midoriya, I think you're drinking too much Kool-Aid. I do. You do have to acknowledge the negs, the 5 card hand size. Even if you're drawing 3 on the backswing, those
Wow.
build turns early, like you said, are going to be a problem. And
Mhm.
yeah, you're gonna need foundations because we don't have ways to cheat progressive. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that one we're gonna have to see. We'll have to reconvene a couple months in and see if we both still feel the same way. But I'm interested to see how that
Right.
shakes out. So why don't you take us off with Kendo Rappa?
Yeah. Next up, get the gloves out. We got Rappa, 6 cards in his hand, 28 life in the bank. We have response: destroy 1 foundation. After you make a check to play or block an attack, that check gets +2. Wild. Response: once per turn, discard 1 card. After your non-throw punch attack deals damage, you may play it from your card pool as your next form. Talking about coming from how Midoriya doesn't have cards to play. I mean, that once per turn right there is wild, right? Like I'm just playing. I don't need as many punches because I can just go with as many punches as deal damage. That's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Are you high on
Uh,
Kendo Rappa? You sounded excited.
I'm so excited for Rappa, bro. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm excited. All
And
right.
it's probably a little bit of the show, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think that
I do
he's.
think I do think that like his effects feel better to play than they actually are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can
Like,
see that. I think he's gonna have a similar, maybe not a similar time to Midoriya, but a lot of the same problems where he's gonna have problems with resource management. You have to. He's a 6-hander, but you got to
mm,
blow up your foundations to use his abilities. And in constructed where he which I think he was definitely designed for, where you're playing haymaker after haymaker and every attack is a bomb. I think destroying your
mm,
foundations is way worth it. Absolutely, I would destroy all my foundations. I I think that
right.
in draft, are you really gonna destroy one of your foundations to throw like a 3 mid for 4 or
Well,
something stupid like that?
I mean, I think. Oh, first of all, the first response to the Destroy One Foundation, I think it's more important on the block in draft, right? Because
Yeah. Okay.
not taking the 6-7 damage move at the end of your opponent's chain. I mean, that's huge. Like
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because we're very much so in a horse race type of thing.
Uh
Whoever's
huh.
ahead on life is usually winning. Where that you can't say that in the actual general format. So like, yeah, that +2 blow up I don't know, a face down,
Mm-hmm.
a foundation that maybe doesn't play with the deck or whatever that's
Mm-hmm.
committed is going to be huge.
Yeah, I think he is strong in that way. Where, like I said, mentioned earlier, if you're trying to stay out of deadlock, there's not as many ways to cycle your foundations through, and that is a really good way to do that. But you're keyword gated on punch, so you have to play punches. Your punch has to land. So if you
Right.
don't have if all punches in your deck, they can look at your 1 punch per turn and be like, well, I'll block that. Or your non-punch and be like, well, I don't need to block that. I think if you pull specifically his build around, which we will talk about eventually later, he can be really strong. But
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think he does enough. I think that he's gonna peter out a little bit. He doesn't give any stats. He doesn't give any stats at all. You could almost look at his destroy 1 foundation as minus speed, so that's interesting. And you don't have to use it until you know what your check is, so that's good. And you did mention that if they're throwing a bomb, it is a nice play to have in your back pocket. But I don't think
Right.
that he does enough. So I'm gonna go C- on Kendo here too.
Mm.
I don't think he's
Man,
that good.
I think, man, I think I want to actually downgrade Midoriya to a B minus because I think he's better than Midoriya, and I don't think he's any better than a B. I'm gonna go B because that blocking I think is so important when you're in the seal
Interesting.
format.
Okay. So you think Kendo's a B?
It's really just that. Like, if you took the bottom response off, I would still say he's a C. Like, if the bottom response just wasn't there at all, and I think he has a lot of great punches on his symbols in the set. Like, Yeah, if you just took that off completely, yeah, I would still say he's a C. I would still say he's a C. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going C minus. You're going. You said B, right?
B. Yeah, B.
Okay. Well, we're a little closer there on that one, but hopefully we start getting
Yeah.
some better characters here.
Yeah. Agreed.
Next up, we got Nejire Hado. This is another fan favorite. This is one of the big three right here. She is a 7-hander with 21 health. That's a lot of health for a 7-hander on air, chaos, and life. She's got response once per turn. After you play or block with the foundation, gain 2 health. Solid. And enhance, permanently reduce your maximum health by 1. This attack gets -2 speed or +2 damage. Also kind of solid.
Yeah.
I think one important thing to note about Nejire Hado is that the big three all share the air and chaos symbols. And Lemillion himself is not in the set itself. You can still pull his cards through XRs. But Nejire and Amajiki both share air and chaos. So it kind of makes it a little easier in the draft to sort of like get either the cards you need or to hedge on those symbols, because you're more likely to, be able to swap between them, or, sort of have more opportunities with those symbols.
Right.
Nejire herself,
yeah.
I think that there's actually a really funny build that you could do where if you saw Nejire in your first pack, you could just not draft any attacks and put 60 foundations in your deck.
Boy, you're saying that sniping the fat gum is something you should not do, but going for the deck out is what we're doing now.
I mean, if you're playing, you just play. I guess you have to have a way to blow up your foundations. Oh, but you can block with them too. I feel like you can go up a lot of health every turn. They have to almost be able to do 21 in one turn in a draft. I don't know that people are going to be able to kill a 7-hander doing that. Gaining 2 life with every card you play. That could be kind of funny.
Yeah.
I feel like that might
7 cards in her hand.
Good,
see, that's the thing, is like the 7-card hand size is so sick because, you have so many blocks, but you have to play very, you have to restrain yourself. You can't string out. You can't even think about it, unless you have game, probably.
21 is beefy. Okay, let me put it this way. Even if you played out, a bunch of cards and you left yourself kind of defenseless, if you blocked or half blocked with just 1 foundation, you're a 23 health character. If you did it with 2, you're a 25 health character.
Oh no, that's my point. That's where I'm going with this. Like they were so smart with the 721 because with her ability, it's kind of insurmountable unless you mess up. Like unless you only draw 1 block zone or play too many cards on the offensive end. She can do so well. Like it's just sick. She doesn't really have to use her bottom end hands very often. In this format. So
I don't think the damage is usually going to be worth it. You don't really know when your attacks are about to be blocked. There's not that many throws. But the minus speed, if you're down low, like if you're like, well, I'm probably not ever going back up to my max anyway. Like once you're at that point, then it's pretty free. So I think Nejire is solid as a 7-hander, which is crazy because 7-handers I don't particularly like in draft. I would give Nejire an A, maybe an A-, but probably A-.
And the reason we don't like 7-handers is because they're frail and they're behind on. Yeah, she is the opposite. Oh my goodness. Like she's gaining 4 health every turn.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit me for 7. Actually, it was 3, about to be 1. Yeah, I'm flirting with an A
I
plus.
think A plus. I think you need to get her real early on in order to have her perform at an A plus level, because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to really focus on your draft, because you're gonna have to have more foundations than attacks, even if you're not going full on 60 foundations. I think it's worth it. I think that could actually be a thing. But you also really need to pay attention to your foundation's block zones and block mods at that point, because you
Yeah.
really want to have good foundations for blocking. You don't
Right.
want to be
Throw some
stuck.
characters in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
well,
wait,
but
no,
then
you
you
don't
don't
get
gain the 2
the
life.
two though. Well, well, it's only once per turn. So yeah, you
Yeah,
block with a foundation and then block with a carry. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm gonna say A. I'm not gonna say A
okay.
plus.
So A minus
I mean,
for Miss Nejire.
yeah.
Up next,
I guess I'm kinder. I guess I'm a kinder grader. Is that what it is? Sir Night Eye, the man who could see the future but still died anyway.
oh,
We have 6 cards in
spoilers.
his hand, 27 life. Oh, yeah,
I'm
you're
just
right.
kidding.
Everyone has no, I just met a kid who I just taught the game the other night who is not at that point.
Oh
So,
no!
you are right. You are right. Let me
Oh no!
stop.
Cut that out.
Um, yeah, editing chair, get on it. We have 6 cards in his hand, 27 life in the bank. We have the top response. Once per turn, after an attack is completely blocked, seal 1 non-character card in your rival stage or card pool and draw 1 card. Then we have enhanced during your attack. Remove the top card of your deck. Discard the top 3 cards of your rival's deck. Remove all non-attacks discarded this way. Your attack gets +1 speed for every 5 cards in your rival's removed from game pile. Okay. Now, if that was a mouthful for you guys, trust me, it was for me too. So yeah, starting with the first R, attack super block, seal 1, sealing 1. It's so strong, but like it's hard to see. It's hard to grade the top response in a seal format for me. I don't know about you.
I don't think that the seal 1 is very relevant there. I think that the drawing a card is relevant. I mean, if they have something really good, sure,
Yeah.
but you don't get to seal it until they've already had a chance to use it. Realistically, because they get to enhance on their first attack or your first attack or whatever.
Yeah.
I think
mean,
that
it's
the
hard
card
to
draw is pretty strong.
Yeah, drawing a card, awesome, especially when you're on defense and you want to make sure you have blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so hard for me to grade the seal because some opponents are going to have some synergy, they're going to have some combos, and they're going to have stuff you can shut down. But most people, most decks aren't going to have things that work together flawlessly. If you're going to seal something, it's not going to be the greatest thing in the world. So
I see that as gravy on top of a card draw ability, honestly.
Right. Okay, that's fair. All right. And remove the top card of your deck. Discard the top 3 cards of your rival's deck. Remove all non-attacks. Discard this way. Get +1 speed for every 5 in your rival's removed from game. Okay.
This is so bad.
I had to read it again because there's so many words.
This is so bad.
So is this a deck out strategy? What are we doing here?
No, this is I'm gonna make my opponent have nothing but attacks left when they cycle strategy. You're gonna get slammed when they cycle.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're.
And,
really
and you only
deck
cycle
anyone.
5. You only cycle 5. So yeah.
Yeah, but you're just filtering them. You're like, if you do this like a couple times a turn, I mean.
Well, here's the thing. You're discarding 3 cards from the top of their deck. So you're getting them to their cycle faster.
Yeah.
And you're getting foundations out the deck. So you're getting them to that target rich environment even faster.
Yeah.
So you're not really killing them faster.
At a decent clip. One per attack is kind of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a certain amount of speed. You will get speed probably pretty quickly, but to get it up to anything meaningful, like 2 or 3, is probably not going to be until
Yeah.
turn
Y-
3, 4, something like that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to generally use this ability 4 times to get 2 speed,
That's a
I would
lot.
think. Um,
Oh, yeah. Um,
yeah,
I think that his card draw ability is generally useful, and I have to see how the mill ability plays out. I have to see if they are burning out at a quick enough rate that you're not going to just die when they cycle and draw 5 attacks.
right. I guess you could play this in it. No, I don't even think you can. I was thinking, is there some way that you could build a deck out deck with this and you could just defense up?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't,
It's
there's
got to be
measuring
your
and it
attack.
just
You
does
have to
that
play
better. So
attacks.
right, yeah, exactly. That was with the wall I just ran into. But you're attacking at the same time.
Yeah.
So how many blocks do you actually have?
Which is like, it's not even about it's not even about not being able to run enough foundations to play control deck. It's more about you're extending yourself into an opponent without the intent of lowering their, like, without killing them with HP. So
Right.
you're kind of like, if you want to do that any reasonable number of times, you do have to string out a little bit, and then you're weakening your defenses. So I think,
Or you have an attack lineup that plays into that as well.
I think if you want to play a 27 health 7-hander that is sometimes a 27 health 8-hander, that's pretty decent. I think he's generally useful. I don't think he'll ever be insane unless the mill is quick enough. I mean, if you play against the 60 Foundation Nejire deck, you're hitting a lot of cards. So I would give, honestly, I'd give Sir Night-Eye a B+. I think he's generally useful.
What? Where'd that come from? What?
He's just generally good. He's got a
We've
lot
been
of cards.
dogging this guy the whole time.
Dude, he's a
give me the
7-hander.
positives again. He's a 6-hander.
No, he's a 7-hander. You draw a card. You
Who are we
block one
talking
attack.
about? Oh, okay, cool. Because you said 7, sometimes 8. Okay, you
Yeah,
meant 6,
because they block.
sometimes 7.
If they block one of your attacks,
Okay.
you're like, cool. I'm an 8-hander this turn.
Right.
I think
okay.
he's just a generally good character.
The
Like, he's never going to be
6.5.
bad.
He's
never.
a 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to hold. You do have to have good zones. You're going to have to. There's a little bit of skill to play him, because you are going to have to play good defense. But if you can, I think it's worth it. I mean,
I think he just. I'm gonna go. Finish your thought first.
I just think he's a. When you're looking at your pool of characters, and you drafted on one of these symbols, or I mean, you do have to commit to him. So I think if you see him as your first character, you're not unhappy.
Okay. If I see him as first character, I'm extremely unhappy. I am going to vom. Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, I am probably, honestly. I think it feels. I think drawing one is great, and I think everything else feels bad. I am gonna give him a D.
D.
Plus.
I think the first
Draw
time you
one.
play him, I think you'll raise that grade. I feel like the bottom ability is kind of meh.
Yeah.
But I think you drawing some cards, and then eventually you getting speed. Like, once they cycle, you're getting a lot of speed.
I mean, I could see the bottom ability killing you is the problem. And if my character killed himself, I would never play it again.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about this draft format, though, is you might not have a choice. You're going to see a couple characters early on, and you're going to be like, oh, all right, I guess I'm Sir Night-Eye. So I think this is one of the characters we'll come back to, and one of us is.
Yeah, I'd love in a month or whatever, we come back and we say, hey, we went through X amount of events. What have we seen? Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about Sir Night-Eye.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Tamaki Amajiki.
Yep.
Did
you read Sir Night-Eye or did I? I forget.
You did Night-Eye.
Okay, go ahead.
So Amajiki, the second member of the big three here, he's a 7-hander with 20 health. At the start of your end phase, you may add 1 attack from your card pool to your momentum face up. So that's just his static ability. That's pretty good. Enhance once per turn. This attack gets plus X or minus X damage. X equals the number of your face-up momentum plus 2. That's pretty good. And then enhance once per game. Choose up to 3 momentum. If they are face-up, flip them, unflip them. I think that bottom ability is mostly useless, right? We saw his whole kit, and there was no like triggers for flipping and unflipping.
Oh, I think you can reuse it. I think that means you can reuse it.
Yeah, you can reuse the momentum abilities, but there's not all of his specific momentum abilities are just oh, you mean like you use the once per turn. Yeah. And then flip them and unflip them. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Right,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. But that's it though. That's the only point of that once per game. There's nothing else. Yeah.
Unless you're doing like a chaos draft and you're on water with with toga cards or something, but
yeah.
That once per turn is really strong. On your turn, on your first turn, it's plus 2 damage, and on their next turn it's minus 3. Minus 3 is a lot. You get to and as that minus 3 minimum, I guess. You could also just hit them with attacks and get more momentum.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's after a couple of attacks, that's a block. That's a free block.
That's a free block. He is a 7-hander though.
He is a 7-hander, 20 life, not a lot, but I mean, oh my god, the static. I love statics because they work when you're committed. If anyone didn't know this, static effects work when your character's committed. Why? Because they said so. And that's beautiful. So when you commit Amajiki, which you should not do, by the way.
Yeah.
When you commit him on your turn and your end phase comes around, you're still adding an attack from your card pool to your momentum that didn't hit. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. And not even to think about, cards that use momentum, because obviously he uses his momentum better than anything else.
I think we have to wait until we see what the payoffs are at common.
Right.
Because if you're not getting enough of his attacks that do the thing, or his foundations that do the thing, I don't think he's very good. I think you need those once per turn abilities coming from your momentum in order to make him effective. And I think if you do that, he's pretty good. But I don't think I'd give him higher than a B, just because you're gonna. If you're opening him as your first character, I think it's not that bad, because you're like, well, I might be able to play Hado, I might be able to play Nejire, because they got the 2 symbols, and you have that as an out if you don't get there. So I think that building around him is a little easier just because you have that out. But
I think even if he's not your first pack, I think it's easy to get some of his cards, and using them when they're in your momentum just feels good. And he just assuredly puts them there.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, other people are going to want those cards because they're just like using those free abilities for momentum is just good. So people are going to snipe you unless it's at common and you're able to get them at critical mass. I think he's not that good. Like, you literally want at least half of your attacks to have that.
Though, okay, wait, hold on 1 second as I scroll through the characters just to make sure what I'm saying isn't a complete and utter lie. Yes. Okay. So about half, more than half. About half. Yeah, more than half of the Shie Hasaikai characters do not have an Amajiki symbol. Most players are you're gonna fall into a Shie Hasaikai character because they all share evil, and all their stuff can be played together. I think that sometimes they're gonna have to pass up on an Amajiki momentum card just because they're not on the symbol. I would predict.
I think if you get his cards, his package, he's pretty good. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
I would give him a build around B+.
My grade, I said all this stuff about Amajiki, and I think if you don't have his kit, I think he's a C-. If you have his kit, build around B-. I think he can feel really good to play, but there's better defenders out there. 720,
Yeah.
How aggressive is he really?
You're putting a lot of emphasis on that static.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't do a lot else.
And you better be hitting something in the set that uses momentum besides him, because you can't just rely on that one enhance.
Yeah. All right. You got us on this next one?
Okay. Yu Hojo. Yes, that is a character in the show. He's a 5-hander with 29 life in the bank. First form, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. No, this is not Sato 2. You may play 1 attack from your discard pile that shares 2 or more symbols with this character as your next form this turn. Remove it after it resolves. Okay, now I know I said 2 or more symbols. We're still going to read the rest of the card. Enhance. If you have 10 or less health, your attack gets +1 speed and +2 damage. Enhance. Destroy 1 foundation. This attack gets -2 damage. Now, before I deem this card unplayable, do you have any comments?
Unplayable?
It's unplayable. Get this guy out of here. Unplayable.
I think he's solid.
His top enhance doesn't. It's not written until near death, and he's coming.
The enhance, yeah,
the top enhance.
Yeah,
the bottom enhance -2 damage is nice.
It's okay,
but for a foundation,
it's good in the late game. Yu Hojo is someone that needs to make it to the late game. He needs to be, his first enhance doesn't come on until the late game. His second enhance pretty much also doesn't come on until the late game. In the late game, it's really good when you're trying to cycle through your face down and useless foundations for any effect. You'll take any effect to just be like, I want to play some more foundations. The form is also...
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me go through the form, because I hate this form for several reasons. Okay, just for sealed formats. Like if you're thinking about the general game, do not take my opinion at all. Okay, draw 2, discard 2. We're going faster through our deck. We're trying to get to a refresh, brain fart. We're trying to get to a cycle. We're trying to get to a cycle, right? Now, once we cycle, what's our deck look like? This thing says remove the attack after it resolves. So we're getting a foundation rich deck back. We're getting a foundation rich deck back after we've cycled. So, and also how many attacks are going to share 2 symbols? I mean, not that many. We should have some, You
really want at least half of your attacks to share the symbols to be tutorable with this. I think he's a 5-hander that doesn't have a ton of 5-hander problems. You do just get the card selection, even if you don't get to play an attack. You are a 5-hander that, even like if you go second with him, you get to do that before you build foundations. So you're a 5-hander that doesn't have bad turn 1 builds on the draw. That's pretty good.
Wait, what? Wait, walk me through what you just said.
So if you go second, if you're the second player,
then you do the first form.
You get to just first form. Okay. You're seeing 8 cards that turn. You're gonna have a good turn 1 build.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then you pitch an attack or whatever on that turn. So you have like your mulligan and whatever. So you have a lot of ways to find one attack immediately, because you have a lot of looks at that first. You just keep one with your partial mulligan, and then you discard it to your first form to find some more foundations to build. And then when you go into your turn 2, or maybe you even wait until turn 3, you've got that in there. You found your attack and you put it in there for safekeeping, and then you pull it out and you're like, haha, now I'm a 6-hander.
Yeah, facts. I wasn't ready for that. But that's your reward, is that you're a 6-hander. Yeah. Like we just talked about guys whose reward is that they're like 7 or 8. Now this guy 6.
He's kind of a monster in the late game, though.
I don't see how I get him to a cycle.
Is a lot.
I guess.
And remember we were talking about Fat Gum. You're gonna be more likely to get to under 10 and stay there and not die.
Yeah, but I totally get you. And but
Yeah.
but Fatgum's cool. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't think he's
Fat,
I don't think Yu Hojo is great. I think he's
yeah.
playable. He's like a C plus.
It
Like,
just I just don't see how he's playing, and like when he's more than 10 life, he's a different character than he is below 10.
yeah.
And the character he is above 10, I find insulting.
I think
egregious.
I think you just are taking evil cards, even though those are going to be hotly contested. And then if you don't find anything better, you're like, well, guess I'm playing. Oh, man,
yeah.
none of these guys share his
I
symbols.
didn't even think of that. But any card with the evil symbol is so hot in draft.
Actually.
Oh my gosh.
So he does share all and evil with two other characters. They're the three because they fight Amajiki.
Oh, is it Chronostasis and
no.
Who's the last one?
Tabe and Setsuno.
Oh, I'm tripping. I was looking right at Chronostasis,
yeah,
and they share too. Oh, so
he does share two symbols with two other characters, meaning you can draft all and evil if you see him and be like, well, hopefully I get someone better. I don't know if they're better or not. We'll get to them in a bit, but I still think he's okay. I think he's playable. He's not great. You'd like better, but I think he's as I could probably see C, just dead average.
I mean, oh, that's crazy. I'm definitely giving him an F. If he is okay, I'll do this. He's an F. If he is below 10 health, he's a D plus.
Okay,
is that
right.
but until he's below 10 health, that's playable. But also 10 characters, I think it's 10. I believe I counted. In this set have evil. So if you pull Yu Hojo first, that's fine, totally fine. I can build that until I get a better character on the same symbol. So
yeah, but evil's going to be hotly contested. That's almost the downside.
Absolutely, but there's still other symbol. I don't know. You can pivot. I mean,
you can. Evil and all do share because he has those two other guys, and then you're right, Chronostasis does too. So there's 4 characters on evil and all. So I think those 4 are gonna be a good pivot, a way better pivot than the big 3 since you don't have a third of the big 3.
Right.
But I think that is a strong pivot. That's something to keep in mind. Is if you don't have a good character, if your first character is a straight up F, something you don't want to play, just start looking at all and evil cards and being like, I'm 4 out of 18 to pull one of them, hopefully.
Right.
So I don't know what happens if you literally draft an unplayable deck with any of your characters, but I think
that is an interesting question.
Yeah, so
you have to. You chose it. You have to just take L's. There's no reason to do that. You have 20 cards that you didn't have to play. I don't know. Anyway.
All right. Next up, Chronostasis. Chronostasis is a 6-hander, 27 health. He's got a form once per turn. Lose 2 health if your rival has at least 1 card in their card pool. Choose 1 breaker or tech card in your card pool and play it. And then commit. Choose 1 of each card in each player's card pool. Those cards cannot leave the card pool until the start of your next turn. All right.
A lot of card pools.
He does technically share the evil and all symbol, which, as we just said, was very fluid and a good pivot. However, this guy is very specific. He's got some hyper specific abilities. You are going to have to be. There's a couple tech cards and there's a couple breaker cards. You better have a lot of them though.
I am searching right now. There are exactly. Oh no, I'm sorry. I have to subtract the starter deck. There are exactly 10 cards with tech or breaker in this set.
How many of them are commons though? Most of them are probably higher rarity.
Common, uncommon, search. There are 5.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Also cards that are on Chronostasis' symbol as well as there are 5. So yeah,
I think he's bad. the ability isn't even the enhance isn't even good unless you had the breaker block.
Yeah,
And
I
it's a
hate
card
the
that you
enhanced.
want to play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you have breaker, then yeah, okay, that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's even harder. Yeah, I just lose 2 health as well.
Yeah. I think this guy's a F. I think this is my first F.
Yeah, I'm desperately looking for some redeemable quality
His
in this
symbols.
format.
That's it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was gonna go with you. Yeah, I mean it's. I think that the most redeemable thing I can say about him is to use that form feels really good. It feels good to say, oh, that card I just played, I'm gonna play it again because I'm cool. And now your opponent's like, oh man, I just blocked it. No, or whatever. But aside from that, like once that momentary coolness wears off, you're still just a 6-hander that has basically no text on his face.
Yeah, I don't like him. When I give him an F. What do you give him?
Is there F minus in this?
No.
Okay, we're gonna be kind. We'll just stick with an F.
All right.
That's the kind.
We are in agreement.
Okay.
Oh, how appropriate with our next one.
Right. I love how that worked out. I think you did it on purpose. Deidoro Sakaki. I could not believe that was his name. Sloshed. We have the 6-hander with 27 life. Top response. Once per turn, after your rival makes a check, add the checked card to their momentum. Your rival rechecks. Enhance twice per turn. If this attack is blocked, your rival commits 1 foundation. If your rival has 1 or more momentum, this attack gets +2 or -2 speed. So the bottom enhance, obviously it's a little bit inspired by Kaminari 1's enhance. However, that one way stronger because you choose the foundation you're committing. He gets a stun 1 when his attack is blocked, and +2 or -2 speed. +2 or -2 speed, really strong. Really strong. Not gonna say anything negative there.
Is not as backbreaking as it is in Constructed, where you're giving Jiro a momentum to slap you about the head and shoulders with a big cannon blast or something, or with specialized sound waves. In this, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as bad. I think
I wish that they just took once per turn off of there.
What? You gonna try and make them recheck everything? What?
No, like thrice per turn can be a thing. I don't know, but like, I just like once I do it once, I'm like, okay, well that's I guess that's it. No,
it's pretty good protection if you let them go 3 cards deep. 3
attacks.
It's
a great effect. Yeah, it's a great effect. I love it. There's potential there that we can't tap into because of the once per turn. Hey, hats off to Jasco. It's actually great, like deck building, card creation, whatever. They built the card correctly. Mm-hmm. I am just mad that they did that.
Interesting to note that if you're on the draw, your opponent has to basically play all their foundations on 3s, and as soon as they start trying to check for 4s on their foundations on their first turn build, you get to make them recheck and fail. You give them a momentum, but again, I don't think that's as big of a drawback. I think it is a drawback. Like
I think turn 1, you just make them recheck the first card, right?
No, because it'll be a 2 or something, and they'll check a 5. And then
but you just want to get them to the first attack that they check. Is that right? No, that's gotta be wrong.
No. It's on their build turn. Because you want to wait until
the first attack could be for the second card, so you want to wait until they have to check a 4.
Yeah, exactly. You want to wait until they're starting to check 4s. So as soon as they check a 4 or try to check a 4, you make them double check it, and that's pretty good.
Right.
That can basically blow up a foundation more or less.
Yeah.
And it also, especially in draft, I've been playing a lot of draft and sealed, and it's hard sometimes to focus on getting a good curve. You're playing a lot of 2s. If they go 2-2-2, that's going to come up pretty quick, and then you're making them check on their third foundation. If they've got a 3 there, that's pretty strong. You might get punished sometimes, but
yeah, I think it's okay. This is weird, but go with me for a second here. Your opponent checks an attack, you make them recheck anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Your opponent check every turn you use that top response, because you're gonna stuff so many cards in their momentum that when they whatchamacall, oh my god, brain fart again, when they cycle, there's just half the deck in their momentum.
Sure. Hoping they don't draw one single EX or powerful attack.
Well, see, that's a gamble that Didoro Sakaki would absolutely run.
Yeah.
No, but that's something that, if you're that zesty, you could do. But yeah, just in general, I think that his ability to give something +2 or -2 speed every turn, no matter what, is so strong. It's so strong.
That's a lot.
It's like having 4 more foundations every turn.
It's worth noting that the -2 speed, if you then block the attack, they're committing a foundation, so that's less resources for them to attack with and to defend with, because that's, and you
make them more timid on that second attack.
So that -2 speed on their turn, that ability on their turn, is actually really, really powerful. You block 2 attacks, they commit 2 foundations, and then you're giving your 2 haymakers on your turn, your biggest attacks, +2 speed, and
for
even
free.
if they do block it, there's no way they're blocking a third or a second. Like, so I think his abilities are really good. I think I'm not 100%. I think Evil and Chaos is another good pivot combination. There's at least one other. Yeah, there's only one other. So there's one other character on Evil and Chaos, but there's also Kendo Rappa on Evil and Order. So I think he's another good pivot character. I think he's an actual strong pivot character, though, where I mean, if you're choosing between him and Rappa, like, that's not bad. And right, we're about to get to the Evil and Chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I think between him and Rappa, who are you choosing? I'm choosing Sloshed, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
I think he's not a bomb. He might actually he's close. Honestly, he's pretty good. I would give him an A-.
Yeah, I was asking myself, at the +2 -2 speed to everything is pretty crazy. The recheck is pretty nice. Is that worth the A? I'm trying to talk myself out of an A. I don't know why. Like, I love this card.
He doesn't have any inherent card advantage. I think that's why you're hesitant there, and I am too. But I've been playing a lot of Sero 2 this set, in set 4, and the ability to commit foundations on your opponent's turn is really, really strong. Is really strong, especially in a format where games are clunkier. There's no way you're dying on, like, you're not getting strung out. It's just not going to happen unless you're just not blocking. Like, then you'll die. But you just block. You just block 2 attacks, and then they're literally down 2 foundations, and then you get to go into your turn and slam them. So
and if they don't have the foundations to play, then those extra cards they have over me don't really matter because they can't play them.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see B+, but I think he is really good though.
I'm between B+, A-, and because of the art, I'm gonna say an A-. Let's go.
There we go. A- for Didoro Sakaki.
Yeah.
Up next, not Fat Gum.
No, skip him.
Hikiji Tengai. This is the barrier guy who fought with Rappa. He is a 6-hander with 25 health, and he's got response once per turn. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck. After an attack is played, you may play 1 non-attack ally card from your discard pile as your next card this turn. And enhance once per turn your turn. If you have played a card from anywhere other than your hand this turn, your rival discards 1 card. Yeah. 1 non-attack ally card from your discard. So he wants He wants his action, right?
Yes.
Which is
we kind of have to read it, right? Like, I don't
yeah.
think we can really talk about him
What
without it.
rarity is it? Do you have it up?
I will in 3, 2, action, bow. Yes, it is a uncommon.
Okay. So there's a reasonable chance that you could get one.
Yeah. Also, hold on. Let me see. You said non-attack ally. So
Is it an ally?
it's an ally. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just
so
assumed.
so let me see if everything else, and let me click ally. How many of those exist in Undaunted Raid? We have 7.
Oh, wow,
Okay,
really? For non-attacks?
oh wait, hold on. How many are on his symbol? Evil Fire Void, Evil Fire Void Search. We have 4. Okay, so
Including the
there's
action.
yeah, a couple of foundations, the Airy asset, and his action.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's
you
not...
know,
Well, why don't we go ahead and read out his action? Just to see,
okay,
because I feel
you
like
want me to
that's
read it?
kind of important. Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
Okay,
What's
so
it
we
called?
have ally. This card does not count toward progressive difficulty. Period. Enhance, reduce this attack's speed to 0. The next card you play this turn gets Breaker 2. I think that's kind of the ability they're going for. And then we have enhance. Your rival cannot add cards to their hand during this attack due to their non-character effects.
Your next card this turn. So that, wait, does that really do anything on... That does nothing on
So
offense.
I think oh, so I'm sorry, what were you saying?
That does nothing on offense, right?
Which part you mean?
The whole action.
Oh, the whole action.
It just prevents them from drawing cards.
Yeah, it's a barrier. It's defense. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, the only reason I mentioned that is because his once per turn is if you have played a card from anywhere other than your hand, your rival discards a card. The only way you're really doing that is with the action. But I guess you get to do that for free, but you're clogging your card pool. So you prevent them from drawing cards, and then you make them discard.
Wait a minute, hold on. So
because it plays it from the discard.
You need to play a card other than if you have played a card anywhere other than your hand this turn. Your rival's card. Yeah, so I guess you'd have to either play the action or just. I think it also allows you to block with one of those other cards I said from the discard.
Yeah, the response does, but I'm talking about his enhance.
Right, like after you block with one of those, then you can use the enhance on the next attack.
Well,
I guess
it has to be on your. It has to be on your turn.
Wait a minute. After an attack is played. Oh yeah. So after an attack is played.
Yeah.
So you. Oh, but there's no ally attack. Oh no, non-attack. Okay, so it has to be one of those anyway.
Yeah. So the play pattern is you play an attack, you get the action back, you play it from discard. They don't draw cards. You clog your own card pool. They discard a card though, so like if they haven't left up enough, that's pretty good. And then they can't draw cards. And then you hit them with whatever if they're they're down a card at least. That's okay. Situationally, if your opponent plays around it, it's not very good. Because you're just clogged your own card pool.
Okay. Yeah.
And then on defense,
I mean, you could, but the whatchamacallit, the action doesn't count toward progressive, so at least you don't clog your card pool.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't count toward progressive at all.
Okay, never mind then.
But also, yeah, and there's a world where I'm not saying this is optimal, but there's a world where you can play one of the foundations as your next card after the attack is over.
Yeah.
And then on your next attack, which is going to be on like a 6, you can use the enhance. I guess
that's true. Yeah. That's not the worst if you're putting them, because if they block that attack, they had to have left up. If they left up 2 blocks, right, and they block your first attack, they're not blocking your second now because you make them discard. So I think he's okay.
That's true.
You have to have the action though.
Yeah, you gotta get the action. Like, yeah.
I don't think other people will want it, so that and it isn't uncommon. I think you are likely to be able to find. You want multiples though is the problem, because you have to discard top 3, and then in order to get them. So, I mean, you really want like 2 or 3 of them to be able to find them quickly.
Yeah.
So, I think if you can get 2, he's okay. He's pretty good. He's not great, but
so in a draft, in a draft where no one else wanted this card and it was only you running Hekiji,
Mm-hmm.
would you expect to be able to pull 2 barriers? Would you be able to expect to pull 2 of an uncommon card?
I don't know. I don't know the
ratios,
the pull rates. I know that in Magic you are expected to pull about 1 of an uncommon per draft pod. But they, you know, that depends on how many uncommons are in the set. There's 6 packs though, so I think that the odds are, if I had to guess, that I feel like you should be able to find 2. You're the only one that should really realistically want them.
Yeah, I'm thinking you should, on average, be able to get 2, and unless someone hates you and just takes it for spite,
I'm doing that. If there's no other picks, it's mine. So I'm just kidding.
and the fat gum gets even worse. No, yeah, I think he's a fun character to play. I think using that effect it's gonna be a memory for you in a draft where, you know, we're not actually like, you know, we're not going to Nats here. We all want to play interesting competitive strategies. Is he the most competitive? No, I'm not. He's not. He's nowhere near the top of the mountain. But I don't think he's at the bottom of it either. Grade. I'd probably, if you build around, I'll give him a C plus.
Yeah.
If you don't hit the action, D
if you don't hit
minus?
anything, because you have to have some, like, I think you're exactly right. Build around C plus.
Yeah.
Maybe
there's no way you don't get any allies. Like, you know, there's 3 other ally cards. 2 of them are common. 1 of them's uncommon. I believe the asset Ares uncommon. No,
that's
she's
really
rare.
not that good though. It does give you like infinite blocks, but you're milling yourself out. So honestly, you probably want to build like you really want like 3 of them, and you want to play like a 55-ish card deck, honestly. I give him build around C plus, and if you don't get the pieces, he's honestly like a D minus.
Yes, yep, we agree on that one.
So
that's good. That's good. That's the first one we did. I love it. All right, here we go. Okay, next character, you might see some text on your screen that is not on the screen. His name is Rocklock, 6-hander, 27 life in the bank. For the culture, let's go. Response twice per turn after your non-ranged attack deals damage. Freeze 1 rival foundation. That foundation cannot ready until the start of your next turn. And then we have response commit after your rival's combat phase begins. Draw 1 card for each of your rival's committed foundations. Wow, that's a lot of draw.
That's pretty good.
For anybody who doesn't realize why that last sentence is on his top response, freeze doesn't stop your opponent from readying a foundation. It only stops them from readying it on their ready step. So if they had like requesting assistance, they would still be able to ready. That's why they put that last sentence on there. The foundation cannot ready until the start of your next turn, because now nothing can turn that thing back on.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I mean, for the culture, I'm just going to let you know he's getting an A+ from me. Didn't matter what he said. Okay. For the culture.
Okay. All right.
Now let's talk honestly. That's a lot of card draw. I mean, that's a lot of draw. What is that?
For the culture or not, he's pretty good either way.
Yeah, that draw 1 card for, I have to keep reading it because it doesn't seem real. Draw 1 card for each of your rivals' committed foundations.
So only the frozen ones. It's not, because it's on the start of their turn. So the first thing they do is ready all their foundations. And ideally you've frozen 2 of them, so you're probably drawing 2 on defense.
Yeah, but
so he's like Midoriya,
if I have a way to freeze other
Midoriya
stuff.
4, but better.
Right, and this is obviously like probably some not sealed format stuff. This is probably some general format stuff. But if I can freeze a couple foundations besides that, I could be drawing like 4 cards.
I mean, he's got a package. I think most of his stuff, I'm just going off memory, didn't. But I mean, we'll see when we get there. I think even just on face value, he's still good. Because unless you're filling your deck with a bunch of ranged attacks, which I wouldn't recommend. He's like opposite keyword gated. Like you just can't play the 1, which I think is totally fine. You just can't play ranged. That's probably fine. Even if you do, you're still allowed to. It's just, you got to hit with other things for his abilities. But I think you're gonna hit people. Like, it's just gonna happen eventually, and it works with throws. There's only There's only two common throws. I'm pretty sure one of them was on all, and the other one was a Fat Gum card. So that's Earth at least. So yeah, I think he's pretty good. If you get those common throws, that's insane.
And freeze is like a top 3 keyword. That thing really feels good. Bad. Yeah.
They have to have already committed it. It doesn't commit the card. It just freezes it. So
right. Or if they commit it afterwards, it'll stay committed.
Yeah, correct. Because you can, but they're probably not doing that at that point, just to deny you the card draw.
Yeah. They'll try their best to keep that thing ready until. But hey, if I say, hey, freeze, this is not seal format, but if I freeze, you're passing the torch. Mm-hmm. Are you still passing the torch? Well, if you have no hand, you're still going to pass the torch. But
yeah. And I mean, this is back to when we were talking about Midoriya. Just drawing cards on defense randomly isn't that bad in draft because, I mean, there's only so much planning that you can do around your opponent's attack lineup because they're playing 3 different symbols and, they're playing what they got. They didn't get to pick whatever, their optimal lineup. So 2 random cards off the top of your deck on defense, that lets you play out like a string of 3 attacks, hit them with 2 of them, hopefully, and then you get to play 2 foundations, pass, draw 2, and you have 3 on defense. And you just build 2, hit them with 3 attacks. Like, that's a lot. I think Lock, that's like a solid A.
Oh, who that is? It's so, the freeze is so good. And just like you said, dude, just exactly what you said, like the ability to draw back up at the start of your opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason I see him not getting an A? No. Yeah, I'd love it. I just love it. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah,
he's solid.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, this is yours.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Mimic. I don't know why they didn't put his actual name on there like everyone else, but Mimic is a 6-hand, 25 health. He's got, when committing cards to pass a check, you may commit 1 asset as if it were a foundation. So you're, once per turn, you've got an asset that's a foundation. Response once per turn. After you check an asset, add 1 attack with a check value of 3 from your discard pile to your hand. That's pretty strong. And then response, after you commit an asset, this attack gets +2 or -1 damage. Real quick, you've got UVS pulled up. You want to see how many assets we have available to us in this set?
I just hit it on his symbols. You have 3.
Common?
I'm sorry. I said you have 4. You have only 1 that is less than rare. That is Takoyaki, which is uncommon.
Oh.
You have 2 ultra rares, Mimicry and Twisting Surroundings, and then you have the rare Airy.
That's not good.
It is not.
Ultra rares? Dude, his card is an ultra rare. All right, yeah. I'm down. This guy's if you literally pull his ultra rare twice, you need like 2 of them.
Oh yeah, totally. Go for it. Yeah.
Like go and you pull him.
You were like building an evil deck and like all your cards just randomly have evil, and then all of a sudden you pull 2 of the ultra rares. You're like, oh man, Mimic would be nice. In your next pack, you pull a Mimic. Okay, yeah, sure. Paul and Lohan clearly want you to win this draft. This draft block.
Yeah, the stars have aligned.
Right.
This guy's an F. He's a flat F. Unless we get to Takoyaki. I don't even want to go and read it now. But if we get to Takoyaki and it's like worth playing 4 of them, then like 5 of them, 6 of them maybe, then I'm down. Okay. But if it's not, you really have to play like 6 of them too, because you have to check an asset. You have to randomly check an asset, dude. That's so bad just to get an attack back.
So the first word of the enhance on Takoyaki, destroy.
Oh boy. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
He's an F.
It is a 6 check. It's a 6 check. I don't know. but yeah, it's you there's no assets you're gonna be playing with this. Eh, yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's nothing redeeming about this card. It's not even gonna feel fun. Like that's like
Yeah.
not trying to make this all lovey dovey or whatever, the feel good and stuff, but we want to have fun. And in draft, if you pull this as your first card, you might as well just throw it away.
Yeah.
Or not throw it away, keep it for your collection. But
maybe in a
don't play
chaos
it.
draft, there's definitely some assets at common or whatever, but I don't even know if they're on his symbol. So yeah, I'm down to you. You're an F too, right?
Yeah, I'm an F. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just
Okay.
Sorry,
the fake rapper. We got Rikikia Katsukame.
very nice.
We have a 5-hander with 27 life. Weird stats. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
We have enhance, lose 1 health. This attack deals if this attack deals damage. There we go. Gain 2 health. So that accounts for the 27 life. And then we have enhance once per turn. Reveal the top X cards of your deck. Remove 1 card revealed this way and discard the rest. You may play the removed card as your next card this turn. X equals the total health you have gained this turn. So we're gonna need to gain some health.
Yeah, I think his kit does that. If I
Yes.
remember correctly, his kit is like lose 2 life, gain 3 life, stuff like that.
Yes.
Um,
But without looking at his kit, this doesn't really seem playable. Like it doesn't seem horrible like the others. Like it's just not.
yeah, you have to hit
It's just
multiple times to draw the card is the thing.
yeah. You got to hit on your first attack because you're not. If you're attacking 3 times in a seal type of format, you're probably losing. If you're attacking 3 times every turn, that is
It's 27
like
health
once
too,
or twice is fine. Yeah,
because
you're supposed to be gaining that health back,
Yeah,
but you're also losing 1, so you're only gaining 1. And sometimes you're not going to hit, so you're actually going to lose 1 as well. So it's just
well, they
like
can't half block, so that's nice. Half blocking him does kind of suck.
yeah, you gain 2. I guess. I mean,
He does have
the name of the game.
common throws on Earth.
Is it uncommon? Is it common or
It's
uncommon?
a common, yeah. There's a fat gun
it's
throw
common?
on Earth, yeah, is one of the 2
Okay.
commons. So I mean, he does have one of the common throws at least.
You're still gaining 1 life from that top enhance.
I think he's like just below mediocre.
Yeah.
He's a 5-hander, which is kind of rough, but like he has inherent card advantage, so like sometimes he's not. You have to be able to hit with an attack. So if you got throws, or if you've got some fast attacks. I mean, plus they can't really half block him, like I said. So I mean, I think he's not terrible. He's just not great.
Here's the
27
one
health is
thing that I think is going to be overlooked by a lot of people reading this card. Whiffing with this feels really bad. Like if you have 2 5-checks on top of your deck and you just threw them away because you wanted to grab an attack, and then you play another attack and and you check a 3.
You get to play a foundation. You're like, guess I'm not attacking anymore.
Well, you can't wait. Hold up.
Yeah, you may play the card.
Oh, okay. You play the foundation. Okay,
Yeah, remove 1
all
card.
right.
So yeah, it's not bad. Like you're always as long as you hit them with something, you're always getting a card out of it. Whether it's the card you want or not is another story. But
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's not that bad.
I think we're.
He's one of the few ways to because there's the whole played from another zone theme that goes through the Shiai Hisaikai, and some of that is on attacks and like foundations and stuff, and there's only a couple of actual characters that get to do that, and he's one of them that can do that, like because like Chronostasis did it, but he did it for very specific cards and he wasn't very good. And then I don't think we've even seen anyone else that really like, oh heck, the Tengai, the barrier guy did it, and Yu Hojo does it, so, and then Kendo Rappa. I think he's of those, I think he's the best that we've seen so far, in terms of using that
Yu Hojo was unplayable.
Yeah. So I think so far of that theme, I think he's the best.
Him or Rappa?
This guy. I think he's better than Rappa in draft specifically.
You think he's better than Rappa in draft?
Yeah, Rappa has to hit you with a punch. This guy just has to hit you with something, and then you get something back. Like you get maybe another attack. You get to dig. Like if you hit twice in a turn, true. Dude, that's 4 cards you're looking at. If you get any of his kit, remember he's got his kit too. So like if that supports him, if you're gaining like 5 or 6 life, that's insane. Now you're digging real deep.
That's a good point. Yeah.
What happens
if the word punch wasn't on there?
You do have to discard, so maybe don't be discarding too much, but you can do some amount of that and be fine. So,
well, yeah, if it's 2 cards, like that's fine.
Yeah, but it can it can go way higher, like realistically.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
So,
well, don't gain 5 life. I don't know how you're gonna do that, but just don't do it.
Yeah, I think he's not bad. I think he's like a C+. Maybe even a B-.
Whoa.
He's got inherent card advantage. He's gonna gain life. Like, okay, because think about it in terms of like a normal draft where like you're trading back and forth, like because you don't have optimal blocks. Your opponent doesn't have optimal blocks, so you're taking a little bit of damage on their turn. They're taking a little bit of damage on your turn, but you're gaining 2 life back every time. Every time you hit them.
Well, every time. I mean, sometimes they're full blocking.
Yeah. But not every time.
Yeah, not every time. But
they'll be able to
every time you're losing 1.
Yeah, I think you will gain more. I think you'll gain on average like 4 or 5 life. You'll be put back up to
Okay.
Oh, like because
the question is like, are 50% of your attacks dealing something? That's the question, and I would hope so, or else this is a very boring game.
Yeah. I mean, and also he does have the throw. He has 1 common throw.
Right. So exactly.
He does have access to that. It's a high priority if you play him.
At this, yeah.
You're like first picking it, honestly.
I think on the turns when he doesn't hit and he doesn't gain his 2 life, then he just feels claustrophobic. I think on the turns where he does hit, especially when he hits with his first attack, and like the card that you're wait a minute, hold on, it's an enhance though.
Yeah,
so you have to attack twice in order to use the enhance.
Yeah, attack twice. But I don't know,
for a 5-hander consistently.
Yeah, you should. I mean, it's maybe not. Maybe it won't happen literally every time, but if you only draw 1 attack, you're not attacking that turn anyway.
Right. Okay. Well, same point. Like, when he hits with the first attack, it feels great. When he doesn't hit with the first attack, I don't.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. You have to hit with 2 attacks and then play a third. If they block your first, if they fully block your first,
the second one doesn't matter, but the first one has to hit. Or I mean, if you play a second attack and it hits, after the first one was completely blocked, now you have to play a third attack to use the enhance, and then you remove another attack, and now you play a 4th attack. You better have some foundations. I mean, like I said, when he feels good, he feels good. I don't know if he feels good very often. I'm gonna go D+, because I think your opponent knows what you're trying to do. You're playing very face up with this character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you've dropped me down. I think I'm down to a C. I still think he's playable. I think he's okay. But yeah, having to play 3 attacks potentially, it could be because you do have to, if they fully block your first attack, you literally have to play 3 attacks. So.
Yeah, I'm looking for who he shares 2 symbols with. Like, who am I? Who do I have to make a choice between him and somebody else?
Yeah. I don't think there is
anybody.
anyone. I think I checked this before. Yeah, there's nobody.
Oh my gosh.
He shares all 3 symbols with Overhaul. So if you Overhaul.
That's great. Perfect. Oh, whatever. No. Okay, here we go. This is not good. He shares 2 symbols with Mimic.
Oh. Okay.
Mimic or let me stop.
No.
That's not even a question.
Nope, nope, nope.
Oh,
Who's
God.
up next? Is it me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Shin Nemoto.
Shinnamoto. All right. We got seven-hander, 20 health. Oh, form twice per turn. Add one card from your hand to your card pool face down. Your rival names an attack zone. Unflip the added card and play it as your next form. If it is an attack whose printed zone is not the named zone, it gets -1 difficulty and +3 speed. And then response after your attack deals damage, your rival reveals one random card from their hand. Oh.
What is that response printed for? Like, I'm very
Was it
confused.
printed for? It's for flavor. It's his quirk. Confession.
I feel the flavor. I feel the flavor. You
Yeah,
know, a little bit
that's
of
it. It's
little bit of
also,
pepperoncinis. You know,
little info. Info's really good. You know their block zone, you know.
yeah.
Realistically, they're only
Reveal
gonna have
one
like 2
random
cards.
card. Okay, yeah, especially in draft. Yeah. I guess I'm thinking about, you know, the general format, like knowing that card doesn't really. Oh well, okay, no. In draft, especially, that's gonna determine my next card a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I love that form. I love it. Like if you have if you have zones that are spread out in your deck,
Yeah.
then 66% of the time you're gonna be able to use that effect.
It is pretty good for stringing. The -1 difficulty is a lot.
Yeah, and it's twice per turn, so it's not just a one-off.
I don't like him though. I think I'm unhappy if I open him in my first pack. Seven-hander with no defensive ability at all. No.
But see, I think he's the most aggressive card we've read so far.
It's gonna depend a lot on the attacks that are printed on his symbols. He needs a actual haymaker. Like you're giving speed, but like you need to be dealing damage. Remember that 5-handers are pretty common in draft. Like 6-handers are pretty common. You have to be dealing 26, 27 damage before they're dealing 20, and you have 0 defense.
Right. But you also have 7 cards in your hand.
Yeah.
And you're getting minus difficulty. You can build more from turn 1, and you +3 speed's hard to block. That second attack is coming in at a 4. Now the third attack's coming in at a 5. That's and they're so fast.
That is, yeah. I still think I'm unhappy if I pull him though. His symbols are also, I think, really bad because he's torn between. He's got air, which is one of the big 3 symbols. So and you're not swapping, like he's hard to transition to a big 3 character because you only share air. And evil is going to be the most drafted, like, you know, symbol straight up.
Right.
And then death is, I don't know, maybe second, maybe not though. No, there's not a ton of death, but
I only see one. Yeah, there's only one character that shares at least 2 symbols.
Yeah.
We haven't read him yet. So yeah,
I think his symbols are not great.
I think I'm gonna be real. If you want to run if you're a historian of the game, you know what I'm talking about. Tim Keefe, Tokoyami deck, where it is all aggro all the time, and you have more attacks than anyone should realistically be running. And you're just like, I'm just gonna pour gasoline on the table and set this whole thing ablaze. I think Shinnamoto could blow everyone off the table.
Yeah.
If you don't absolutely, burn yourself alive first. Because you could check horribly, you could just absolutely brick, and you're done.
Well, but ideally the minus difficulty helps with that. So maybe you play a couple extra attacks, a little heavier, like 16, 17 attacks in your draft deck.
Right, but I like to play. I mean, Shinnamoto, I feel like he should be playing 4 attacks on a turn. Like not every turn, obviously, but he should
Yeah.
have a kill turn where you're like, oh my god, I thought this was draft. What just happened? Like he
Yeah.
should invoke that kind of response from your opponent.
He does do the kill turn
Um,
really well, because you get some information and you get the minus difficulty and the speed. He does the kill turn really well.
yeah,
I guess he realistically kind of pokes well too. But if you're
yeah,
doing the form as your first enhance, like as your first form,
oh yeah,
they're gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna try and block that because he's not doing anything else this turn. So
right, yeah,
it's kind of. I think he's below average. I think I'm sad if I see him. I just think he has 0 defense, and you're probably gonna die. I don't think that it's going to be as bad this format as it was with Muscular in League of Villains. The five-handers don't put massive stats on everything, and they're not as beefy. But I still think that you're going to have to play a real tight game if you're playing this guy. It's going to have to be a tight game.
Agreed. So. One other note, though, is that for that +3 speed, he is on air, sharing air with Amajiki to put his stuff in the momentum.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
So that, it's a little bit of, yeah.
That's kind of cool. Interesting. I like that. I think he's okay. I think he's like a C-.
Yeah, I think he's such a coin flip. Like he could feel like an A+, he could feel like an F. Like depending on that's his spectrum, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of other characters have a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of other characters are very, very tight. Like the best they could be is a B, the worst they could be is a C-, like somewhere in there. But Shinomoto is so wild. I'm gonna give him a solid C. I think that, I think he could be really fun, and that's the most thing I like about him in a draft. I think he'd be really fun.
I think we're pretty close on him. I think it's gonna depend on the format. We'll see.
Facts. Now, are you getting hungry? Because this guy's always there. Soramitsu Tabe. I hope I'm saying his name right. Like a Cleveland Browns fan or something. I don't know. 6 cards in his hand, 27 life in the bank. We have response once per turn after your attack is completely blocked. Feels bad. Your rival destroys 1 foundation. Feels good. Then we have enhance during your attack. Remove 1 card from your rival's card pool from play. Your attack gets +2 damage. Your rival's check to block this attack gets -1. Draw 1 card. Lot of good words in that enhanced. A lot of good words. Remove. Don't like to remove stuff from my rival's card pool, but remove stuff from play. Extend the deck out a little bit. Plus damage. Your rival's getting -1 in the check to block. So I guess for this attack, their progressive doesn't change.
No, their check gets worse. The check gets -1, not their modifier.
Right, but I'm saying.
Because you removed the card. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
you remove the card from card pool. Yeah. But for the next attack, that card's not in the card pool anymore.
Yeah.
So
gotcha.
But they're probably not going to have. You're not attacking 3 times that many times, so that's not going to play.
He
very
might
often.
be. He's hungry.
He is hungry. He's out here for all the meats and the
this
veggies.
Guy's solid. This is almost bomb level. How do you play around this?
The once per turn, the response is so good. Like in a format where you don't have these abilities where you can build a bunch of foundations. You're not playing against Recovery Girl. Okay, you have a set list of characters you can play against, and they're not, unless you're Fat Gum, you're not throwing in extra foundations. That's really good. He's
gonna destroy 5-handers.
Yeah,
Midoriya with his look at me. I've got more cards on defense. It's gonna just like eat him up.
Yeah,
nice turn 1 build, bro. There goes
it's
a third of it.
It's hard for Midoriya to get a bunch of foundations out anyway, and now he's just eating them up. Like, oh my goodness.
The enhance is really solid. That's so. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Sero 2. That's the other half of Sero 2. That's the card after they block. I mean, you don't have the card pool stuffing abilities that you do in Constructed, but every time they block, you draw a card, and your attack gets +2 damage. Just drawing a card. That's it. It's like you poke. You get to poke so well because you poke, they block, They destroy a foundation. You play another attack. You draw a card. It's free as hell. You play some more foundations, and you just built out, destroyed their foundations, got some momentum. Like, you just did so much. You progressed your game state so much.
Yeah.
And the drawing a card doesn't punish you for stringing out.
Yeah, and there's no once per turn on that enhance. Every time they block, that's more food for you to eat. Like that, every time you block, I'm drawing another card. Just to let you know. Yeah. So block all you want. I'm gaining so many cards that I can build so much that's gonna allow me to attack more. Yeah. That's gonna make you block more. That's gonna make me draw more cards. So the longer you play against this guy, it's a nightmare.
He's really strong. I'm down for an A, honestly.
I'm just trying to find a reason not to give him an A+. I guess the 6 hand size is probably why.
Well, the 2 damage is like
27 line.
Against 7-handers, he might struggle because they don't care about fully blocking him, and they might be able to, like, because you're not giving damage, so they're, if they can just keep blocking you, it does get harder. Like, because the stats don't matter if you're being blocked. So
right.
With speed, when you're playing Sero and you're giving 3 speed, it's a little different. It's like you're getting a lot off of that. But
you can also, you draft for that. You can draft attacks that are gonna get through. So
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I like him. I don't think he's a total bomb level A+, but I think he's close. I think he's really solid, and I like him at A.
Yeah, I love him at an A+. I'm going A+. I just think he can make sure that he doesn't die right away. And the longer you go on, this is great. He's destroying the foundations that you need to block these attacks that he keeps drawing. It's wild. That's the reason we banned Kirishima ones, because he made completely blocking attacks suboptimal. This guy does.
Yeah, he's really good. We got our last character here. And I think, is this one yours?
Did I just read him?
No, yeah, okay, this one's mine. My bad. All right, we got our last one.
Yeah.
Toya Setsuno. He's a 6-hander with 26 health. Form once per turn, commit 1 foundation. That's a cost. Choose 1 attack in your rival's discard pile. As your next form, play the top card of your deck face down as a copy of the chosen attack. And then enhance, flip 1 foundation. Your attack gets +2 speed. If it is a weapon attack, it gets +1 damage. Ooh, this card is so good. Commit 1 foundation. That's a lot. That's a big cost. But you get to play your opponent's best attack.
I mean, you basically just play that attack on a 1 difficulty more than normal, right?
No, it's regular
because you're committing 1.
Oh yeah,
foundation to play the form.
Yeah.
But you're playing. Choose 1 attack in your. I just want to make sure I'm not tripping. Choose 1 attack in your rival's discard pile as your next form play. Yeah, you're playing the best attack in their discard pile.
Oh, the best. Yeah, and their best attack.
And you're also not moving it. Like, it's not going anywhere. You're gonna play that again next turn unless they play a better attack. So that's kind of wild. Especially in like a slower kind of pace format, like Sealed.
Giving it +2 speed is pretty good.
Yeah.
Flip 1 foundation. Man. That can be kind of rough. Flipping is a cost.
Yeah, but in draft where maybe Sealed, your foundations are weaker. I don't know about draft, but for +2 speed at the right time is very strong. You don't have to use all that ability. No, yeah. You're gonna have unless you're unless you want to be Cementos. No need to do all that. I think this is pretty strong. I think he's limited, right? He's not egregious. He's not overwhelming. But it's a very strong start of turn, maybe end of turn thing to say, I'm just gonna attack you with your best attack before I pass. That's super good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to do it end of turn. You are still on a progressive
end of attack string type thing. Yeah. Not the last card you play, but the last attack you might play after, or your opponent throws a block out, then they they commit out.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, this is hitting. That's 0 speed, 9 damage attack over there. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty strong. He's got inherent card advantage, stats, like that's everything. I mean, the commit cost is real. I don't know if the weapon is. I mean, the weapon part is just a bonus, right? So, I mean, you can't do the flipping one foundation too many times. So, I'd say solid B plus. I don't think he's quite A level. His stuff is pretty well reined in with its costs, but I think he's solid. I think you could definitely. You're happy if you get him. I think he's the best of the evil and all characters. Well, no, I guess he's not because Tabe was. Yeah, Tabe was in there. So, evil and all are really good symbols. That's a solid
Yeah.
pair of pivot symbols right there.
Yeah. Evil and all. I believe just those three of the three who fought against Sun Eater.
It was them and Chronostasis.
Oh, and Chronostasis. Right. Yeah. And everyone else was horrible except for Soramitsu. I've got to remember his villain name because I'm not calling him Soramitsu again and again. Again, pass off to the design team. Fun to play. You know, kind of stealing your opponent's attack is a fun thing to do. But yeah, like you said, is he a B minus? I think he's a B minus.
You're a little lower on him. That's fine. Yeah, I think he's just gonna play. I think his abilities are strong, and he's just gated by his costs.
Yeah,
so it'll depend on how much you feel that while you're playing draft.
Right. So. Yeah, I think that's solid to say. I'm just over here like reweighing the +2 speed and how often you actually get to play his abilities. Like,
yeah,
you play the form, and then he's probably has no text until your next turn.
Yeah,
after you commit that foundation. So, but that foundation committing is so dope. so yeah. I wonder if combo. Oh, no, combo doesn't work because it says printed. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, that was our last character. So we just wanted to get the characters out first, since they're sort of the basis for the draft format. We'll be doing the next is going to be commons and uncommons. That's going to be like the bedrock, the foundation of the rest of the, your draft deck. Those are the cards you're going to see draft in, draft out. So we're going to do those next. That'll be a little quicker just because, the cards are not as complicated to read and evaluate as all these characters with all these abilities going on. So we'll have that one out next, but we wanted to get the characters out so that we could lay the foundation for draft, since it's not really talked about all that much right now, and with pre-release coming up in at time of recording less than 2 weeks.
10 days.
Yeah. Pretty much everything we said was applicable to sealed too, for the most part, with a couple exceptions. Like, you're not going to have all the copies of some things that you want like you can in draft, but I think everything was applicable for sealed too. So I hope everyone has fun playing sealed. I know I am. You planning on going out to any pre-releases?
Oh yeah, we got the pre-release. We just got another store in DC starting to pick up My Hero.
Oh,
so
really? In DC?
I might be going to 3 pre-releases. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
For those of you who are in the DC area, Curio Cavern and Springfield Mall just starting up a My Hero community. So awesome. Game of Giant in Fairfax and Curio Cavern.
Nice. And then I'll be at Tower of Games in Virginia Beach on Sunday. We're doing ours at 1 p.m. So honestly, if you're in Virginia Beach, you've probably already heard me trying to get you to play this game, but on the off chance that you haven't, come out and play with us.
Get on it.
So thanks for talking about these cards with me. I'm really excited for Limited.
Already. This is awesome. This is really so fun.
Yeah. And we'll get the commons and uncommons out to you guys next, and then after that, the rares and ultra rares, the spice to draft. So we'll catch you next time. Adios. Alrighty.